Why's my hair so Oh my god, look at my hair. Hey guys, how's it going? Mr. Flak here. So if you guys like me for my Rust content, you might want to click away now. This is going to be more of a personal type video. So if you're just for the Rust, click away now. But if anyone is here for the Mr. Flak content, then stick around. It's been about a year since I've made one of these videos and a lot has changed. So the last time I made one of these videos was on the 19th of January 2019. That was on the second year anniversary of my channel and a lot has changed. It was at a time when I just quit my job, my normal, well, I can't call it a 9 to 5, it's more like a fucking 5 to 5. It was a brutal job. I quit my job and it was 19 days into my self-employment as a YouTuber and everything was a little bit like in the air. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know what was coming. I was scared really, and I just wanted to give you guys an update of exactly how the year went. It was great. It was fantastic. It was actually the best year of my life. So I started last year out, the January 2019, and it was pretty nerve-wracking, pretty much because I had quit my job, so no more stable income, and I decided to do YouTube full-time, and I didn't know what to expect. Obviously, I had bills to pay. I was terrified. Fortunately, my wife was very supportive during this time, and she was like, you know what, just do it. And it actually started 3 months prior to me quitting my job. It was like October 2018. I used to install computers and, you know, like equipment at restaurants and cafes and stuff. And that was my job for 9 years at the same company, just doing that non-stop, and it was brutal. And it was like October, and my manager sent me to the Amazon Cape Town headquarters where I had to go and install new computers in their restaurant and canteen. And I was sent at like 4 in the morning, which was a problem because I've got a daughter and I've got a wife and she needs to get to work. My kid needs to get to school. I left the house at like 4 in the morning. I arrived there like just before 5 and it was pitch black outside. I cut myself in the boot of my car. I had a big slash on a sharp object in my car, and it like was gushing blood, like squirting with my heartbeat. It was like duk, 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 duk. It was an absolute mess. And I remember phoning my manager and saying like, well, I couldn't get hold of him at first, but like an hour later I got hold of him. I'm like, dude, I need to get to the hospital. I like basically like ripped my finger. I could see my bone. It was gross. And he was like, yeah, you have to finish the work first and then go to the hospital. So like I wrapped myself with like a plastic grocery bag and I taped my finger shut because the second I took it off, it would just carry on like pouring out of me. It was pretty bad. And obviously I had to do what I had to do. I had to get the job done, got the job done, went to the hospital, and the hospital was full. And yeah, so I decided to go home, treat myself with bandages. I did the best. Like, I actually ended up super gluing my finger together. I watched the Bear Grylls episode once when he's like, yo, just super glue a wound together. And I did, and it worked, sort of. But it was gross, and I went back to work, and I still distinctively remember the moment when I walked in and my colleagues as well as my manager were making fun of the incident like it was a joke. Oh, you cut yourself, why are you such a pussy? You know, and with my fatigue from doing YouTube at night and working at horrible hours, and my frustrations and my pain, and a number of elements just sort of triggered in me, and I decided that second, a literal second, that I'm going to quit my job. So I walked up to my wife, because my wife worked at the same premises as me, and I said to her, like, I'm going to quit. And she's like, yeah, do it. Because she's like, she supports me for everything. So she's like, yo, quit it, fuck it, doesn't matter. And I quit. I spent the next few months just planning, the next 2 months just planning, making sure that I can quit, because, you know, hashtag build and expenses. But you know what, we weren't in a situation where I could quit my job, but I was at a stage in my life where I couldn't continue in that state. So I just quit, and January came around and it was scary, and I had to get things in order. So the first order of business was the granny flat. Now, if you guys aren't South African, you won't know what a granny flat is. It's basically a small house that South Africans build behind their main house, where you ultimately place your aging mother one day when she cannot look after herself anymore. It's a granny flat, or garden flat, if you will. Garden flat. And I had a garden flat. I bought this house like 5 years ago, and the garden flat was in an absolute atrocious state. Like, I'm talking meth dealer, homeless shelter, bad. Windows were broken, carpets were dirty, the walls were stained and ugly, the cupboards were broken, the bathroom, oh my god, the bathroom was just, it gave me, ugh. It was bad. It was really bad. And there was like a wall in the kitchen that someone had built over a window. And it was just an absolute shit show. And I wanted to rent it out so that I can secure myself additional income, secure my family additional income. So the first order of business was to make the granny flat, the garden flat, nicer, so that I could attract a nicer quality tenant and more money. So I had to rip the thing, and I'm talking rip it, like rip the carpets, rip the tiles, rip the horrible bathroom, break down that gross wall that was covering up the kitchen window, rip out the cupboards, sinks, bathroom, everything. I ripped the place clean. There was a window like in the bathroom where it was facing my yard, my own personal yard, and I didn't like that, so I ripped out that window, and then I like repurposed that window so I could move it above the toilet. And then I had to break through the wall, and I live in a very old house from the 60s, so the walls are like this thick, double reinforced concrete with steel in between. So it took me like 7 days to break a window hole that is like this big. But eventually I broke through. I repurposed that window that I ripped off the side, and I built it into a new wooden frame, and I sanded some pieces of wood together to build the frame, put it in. That worked well. I redid the bathroom. I changed all the floors to urethane floors, like concrete, smooth concrete urethane, so I had no more carpet, no more tiles. I concreted the whole flat. I rebuilt the kitchen cupboards. I rebuilt the wall further back so that the tenant could enjoy, bigger windows, and I built a roof and gave everything a fresh coat of paint, installed this new super complicated shower door, and like the basin was in an undesirable location, the hand basin in the bathroom, so I had to move the basin over to the side, and that involved plumbing, which I've never done. So YouTube helped me quite a bit with not only securing my future, but also teaching me how to become a builder, because I didn't know how to do it. So I used copper fittings, I moved the piping to the side, I hit a couple of bits of wood together, painted it, made a wooden top, painted that, sanded it, put it all together. It looked amazing. The bathroom came out perfect. The bedroom was nice. The kitchen was nice. I rebuilt all those cupboards, put in new sink, new tiles. It ultimately looked amazing, and that consumed like 2 months of my year. I was only done in March, and that was already a quarter of my year done. So that was great, but at the same time, we attracted these new tenants, Casey and Reese, and they are just such a delight. They are quiet and beautiful and perfect, and they are the best tenants. They pay on time, and with that came security in terms of my bills, because there's one thing to quit your job and just say, I'm going to do YouTube, but unless you have some stability, you should never just quit. We are adults, we have things to do. So I quit my job for the YouTube, secured my rental income with the tenants, upgraded my property and whatever, and then I actually started living coming April, where I could actually start experiencing things, and I could experience waking up in the morning and not rushing out the door. I could have coffee by the swimming pool and go water the garden and go do some gardening. I love gardening, and I could start doing the things that I've wanted to do that a job held me back for so long, because I was always on the schedule of just work, and then YouTube, sleep. And it was such a refreshing experience for me, and I felt myself grow as a person over the following months, just strengthening myself. And I received a phone call from Asa, who I just love. I'm sorry, everyone's so sick of me talking about Asa, but I love them so much. They contacted me and they asked me if I wanted to try the Thronos, which was weird, because at the time I was in love with the Thronos. I've been Googling the Thronos for like weeks prior to them contacting me, and then they phoned me and they said, like, do you want to do this, bro? And I was like, of course. So in Joburg, they flew me up to Joburg, and I tested out the Thronos. I'm going to link all the things I'm talking about in the video description below and on the top left of the screen. I got to meet the people behind the Acer Predator brand, and it was really nice. I don't want to sound like a commercial or like an advertising commercial, but they were passionate, like truly passionate gamers, and it was nice to work with a brand that didn't want to sell something, they wanted to show you something. And it was good. I tried out this Thronos. It's this big gaming chair, and it changed my life. And at the time, I also saw one of their laptops, the Helios 3000, I think it was. And I got a sense of their build quality of their Predator branding products, and I fell in love with the laptop. And then, weeks later, I got back in Cape Town, and then they contacted me and they were like, would you like to try out this? It's a Predator Triton 500. And I mean, it's a $3,000 laptop. It's a very expensive laptop. And they were like, do you want to try it out? I said, yeah, cool, for how long? And they're like, no, you can keep it. So what? They're like, no, you can keep it. And I was like, oh, wow. And then, I did a commercial for them after that. It opened up an entirely different revenue stream, because at the moment I'm a gamer that plays one survival title, Rust, and now suddenly I've been opened up to a whole new revenue stream. I mean, I've done paid for work prior to this with Cougar Gaming and a bunch of other things, and it was new to me to actually realize that, hey, hold on, I don't have to just be this faceless gamer. I could also be sort of I hate this fucking word, but Acer called it. They said influencer. Ugh. I hate that word. But I could be a personality within the industry, and that opened up everything for me, because let's be honest, Rust has a lifespan. Eventually people are going to stop playing Rust, and with that my YouTube career would technically die. I used to be so busy and I couldn't take off on weekends to go fly across the country or fly across the world. I couldn't do that because I always had to worry about being back at work on Monday. And now with this freedom, Acer contacted me and they're like, do you want to do Rage? And Rage 2019 was one of the coolest things I've ever done, purely because I have always wanted to do Rage since I was 13. Sorry, for those of you that don't know, Rage is like an electronic expo, E3, but the smaller version in South Africa. It's the biggest festival that we have in terms of gamers. And since 13 years old, I used to look at the event in magazines. It's on the other side of the country, and I could never go because of its timing. It was just a weekend, and to fly up for a weekend and fly down, and Acer was, again, legends. They flew me up. They got me like this awesome villa. They paid for my tickets to go. Me and the wifey flew up, and also two of my mates, Bokom and 3 Feet, they followed me up as well, and we just had the best time. We walked around. The displays are insane. I'm going to sound so biased. The Acer Predator stand was by far the best. It really was. I asked a bunch of people, they felt the same. They did like the Thronos has like this cool scorpion tail made out of like this sharp metal, and they did the same on their display, except this enormous display going right over, and I'll add footage over while I'm busy talking now and you can have a look. But the event was amazing. Other than the amazing Predator stand that was on display, all the vendors came out in full swing. The MSIs, the HP, the Alienware, a bunch of people came. There was cool gadgets, cosplaying, tournaments, esports events. It was insane, and I mean, it happened over 3 days. Hi, you are?
I'm just joking, you're just good. You played with me before.
Look at this Predator stand. Holy shit, that is unbelievable. You're the cameraman, how do you feel? Do you feel important? What have you got in your hand there? T-shirt. This is Acer Belinda lady. She is the head of everything in marketing. Now with the Triton that they very generously gave me, I now have the power to create the content. You know, I used to play on a very shitty machine and my visuals were terrible. And then they gave me this, and then my visuals suddenly went you know, world-class quality. And then Ava Media came on board and they sent me this microphone. The microphone and the cameras and the capture cards. They gave me a whole bunch of stuff. Sonic Informed South Africa, Cougar Gaming too, just kept on giving me shit. And alongside with that and my Twitch support and my growing YouTube channel, and then I've got people from my Patreon. I mean, I'm talking Miguel and Aylun and Ditsimizi giving me $50 each a month. Like, people were backing me on a huge scale. Followers and friends that just kept on supporting me financially and with their views and their time and their comments and their encouragement. And these are followers and friends and a community that built out of nothing. And I pride myself on my community. I've always, since the beginning of my channel, I've always said, you know what, I'm going to start replying to everybody. And it was fine replying to 15 people and 20 people and 30 people, but when people started commenting in the thousands, it became rough. But I made a note that I reply to every single, well, not every single comment, but almost every single comment I could, and just reply to people and interact with people, and you create this community, this positive community, and you just get rid of that toxicity within the community. And it was refreshing because you get these people that find your channel by accident, and then they comment more and they comment more. You get to know their names and you start speaking to them, and you can start realizing what country they're from and who they are. And I mean, I had mates that made me things and sent me letters and sent me gifts from Norway and America and England. And like, I've got people from around the world wearing my clothing, watching my videos and supporting me in ways that I couldn't imagine. And that started from me doing like this YouTube channel, quitting my job and then just jumping into this head first, hoping like, please work. It actually worked, and I don't really know why, and I don't really know how, but I'm glad it did. Honestly, that's why I've had the best year of my life, is because I finally get to live the way I want to live. I'm not a very materialistic person, so I don't like stuff. But now I can, like, for example, behind me is my living room, and it wasn't a shit show, but now I can paint it and I can upgrade it. I can fix things and I can, you know, fix the garden, fix the pool and enjoy my family, enjoy them, like actually enjoy them. Because like, I blinked and my daughter aged to 5 years, and she was this tiny little girl and now she's a big girl, and I don't want to like wake up one day and just be like, what happened? You know, I can see her grow now. I can get her home from school and we can hang out together and put our feet in the water in the pool and color in pictures together and do stupid shit, you know. Unfortunately, at the moment, my wife is still working. We are desperately trying to get her away from work. So it's just a matter of time before she can hand in her resignation, and then she can join me in this lifestyle, because I don't feel that human beings were designed, they weren't put on this earth to work for 12 hours a day. It's absolute madness. You wake up early hours in the morning, you leave your house in a rush, you work all day, you come home, you're tired, you have to rush, make supper, get the kids done, so that you can get enough sleep, so that you can wake up and do it over again. That's madness, just to think about how people live like that. And I'm fortunate enough with my community and my supporters that I can now live the life that I deserve, that we all deserve. What I'm trying to say, sorry, I'm getting sidetracked. To you guys, I do want to thank you so much for everything. I can't believe that this tiny channel that was nothing has actually turned into a brand, is actually out of control. And a lot of people fixate on numbers, and my numbers aren't that big. I mean, I'm not even on 80,000 subscribers yet, but it's not about the numbers, it's about the engagement and how much reach you have. I have people and brands that approach me wanting to work with me just because I have a decent following and community. And all of this started from one tiny little dream where I was a nothing and I had 50 views on a video, and some guy chirped up on one of my comments and he was like, Flak is back. And I was like, holy shit, that sounds so cool. That's going to be my motto. And from that, transforming into like this machine where the biggest names in the world are saying Flak is back. It's just...
Flak is back.
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 Black I welcome.
Flak is back.
So, Alexa, what do you think of that?
Flak is back. I don't have an opinion on that.
I beg your pardon, love.
Hi, Mr. Flak.
Mr. Flak.
Mr. Flak. Mr. Flak. Mr. Flak.
Mr. Flak.
Guess who's back?
I've just woken up,
Back again.
but I know that Flak is indeed back.
Flak is back.
I sound a bit nasally.
Tell a friend.
Flak is back.
I don't deserve it. Thank you for watching. Flak out. Okay, I wasn't crying there at the end, okay? I wasn't crying. I'm super manly and tough. So I wanted to say thank you guys so much for watching this roundup of my year and how it went. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. To my patrons, again, the people that support me at the base and the core of my channel, I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for being with me this year. And for you, the viewers that also watched, commented, liked my videos, subscribed, shared things, I love you guys to the ends of time. Thank you so much for everything that you've done for me. I love you guys. Catch you next time. And as always, Flak out.